Previously on the Guardians of Earth, tensions continue to rise as Godzilla continues its way eastwards towards the west coast of the United States. All the while, Anthony Anderson and Eleanor Harrington began their combat training and the latter practiced to become a better person. However, towards the end of the week, King Bowser and his fleet has begun their invasion of Southern California. The story continues in Oakland, where the invasion begins. Walking along the sidewalk in the night, Eleanor and Anthony have an interesting conversation. As they do, people around them are not too concerned. With Hellraiser being calm for the past 3 days, they don't have to be scared as much, which is good for everyone's morale. What? No way! That's what exactly happened. I accidentally broke my sister when I put hot sauce in her tea. Her tongue was red hot for hours. I know good as well that wasn't an accident. Whatever. The two individuals stops in their tracks. Standing in front of them are Chloe, Jojo, Mario, and Luigi. On their faces is concern and worry, concerned by the duo's continuous activity with each other for the past 3 days. Hey, what are you guys and gal doing here? Listen, we need to talk in private. Wait, why? We've been discussing about what's been going on with you two, and, well... Come on, spit it out. What is it? Look, don't get us wrong. We like that you're becoming a better person, Ellie, and we got no problem with that. The problem is, well, Tony. Huh? Why me? We fear that something bad might happen between the two of you. Oh, I'll make sure that if it does, I'll give him no mercy. And if that happens, I'd kick her ass. See? That's the point. Look, I think you two should stop seeing each other. Why? It's not like we're dating or anything. Actually, if you put it that way, finish that sentence and I'll burn your fucking skin off. Look, we think it's best if you two stop whatever it is you're doing. And give up all of this progress? Do you know how hard it is to get this lady to cut back on the sass and violence? Wait, I don't get too sassy. And we've been making good headway with what we're doing. We can't stop here. We know, but we have no choice. Look. Me and Zeus are actually getting along, and we're happy that it's like this. So, I say we shouldn't. Better yet, why the hell do you want us to split? Well, it's because of you. Okay, if there is something that you guys aren't telling me, then you better... He stops mid-sentence. The look on his face changes from frustration to concern. The others, including Eleanor, looks at him confusingly. Aram? What the hell was that? What was what? And who's Aram? That was a sudden surge of energy. Smell the air. Wait, is that another voice? Unsure of what Aram is talking about, Tony smells the air. His eyes widens and becomes more concerned. Wait, what is that? It's him. He's coming. Is it actually? What is wrong with you?
Alert, alert, alert. Category 4 Colossus spotted, approaching Oakland City from the north.
Colossus? Wait, you don't mean... A sound rings into everyone's ears. It is a San Francisco monster siren. In Oakland, a similar siren goes off. Warning! Category 4 Colossus King Bowser and several Category 1 troopers have been spotted heading south towards San Pablo Bay. All residents must evacuate to monster shelters immediately. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. The announcement comes out of nowhere, shocking everyone. Every human who hears the message now follows the order to get to a nearby monster shelter. And the 5 mutants and Dragonborn are no different. Well, 4. Chloe and Jojo gets calls from their commanding officer in the AMS 27 Infantry Division, which is one of the 5 divisions stationed in Oakland. The former tells her friends to get to a shelter, and that they do. However, within the mind of Anthony, he is having second thoughts. While the Armor and Navy can't get there in time, the Air Force is one step ahead. At Heel, McClellan, and Traverse airfields, pilots scramble to their fighter jets. F-22A Raptors and F-16C and D Fighting Falcons. They check their aircraft, then they take off into the air. In addition, 2 squadrons of A-10C Thunderbolt IIs takes off from McClellan Airfield as ground infantry support. No soldier or officer is taking any chances. All of the war games and preparations have gave them the ideas on what to do in this kind of situation. North of Oakland, the 14th Infantry Division takes their positions in nearby buildings. In the city, the 20th scatters in squads and takes their positions near the towers. At Lowell Park, Jojo and Chloe's squad, the 108th of the 27th Infantry Division, loaded with rocket launchers and grenade launchers, takes their positions and waits for the incoming attack. Meanwhile, as civilians head into a monster shelter in southern Oakland, Anthony looks back behind him. The sight of the city enters his eyes. The thoughts of his own friends getting killed overwhelms him. Suddenly, he stops. Eleanor looks back at him. "Hey, what are you doing?" "I changed my mind. I'm not going to sit back in some dirty, run-down bunker and bear witness my own friends getting killed. I have to do something. They're professionals and soldiers, and I'm not letting you get yourself killed. Besides, you are beyond ready for this." "You should do what she tells you. You are not ready to face King Bowser." "Sorry. The only thing I'm known for is protecting those around me. It's what I promised the Honda, and I'm keeping it. Plus, I'm guessing that Robert is after me. If he is, who's to say that he won't come looking for me in that bunker?" "Well, I guess you have a point there." "Don't worry. I'll handle it. Wish me luck." He turns around and runs into the fleeing crowd out of sight. Eleanor, Mario, and Luigi calls out to him to stop, but to no avail. Anthony jumps onto a building and hops and runs across several more. "Oh, God damn it! Giovanni, you're with me!" "Wait, which one of us?" "Both of you. Now move it!" Mario and Luigi digs into their pockets. They take out a red and green flower. They crush it, and suddenly red and green fire surrounds the two. 2 seconds later, the flames disappears, revealing that their overalls have changed to red and green, with their undershirt, gloves, and cap turning snow white respectively. The three runs from the bunker into the crowd. Police officers shout at them to come back. They do not listen and disappears. In Eastport, the 54th Artillery Regiment removes tree branches from 10 M114 155mm howitzers. The troops load high-explosive shells into the cannons and wait for the coordinates. All around the bay, spotlights are turned on to spot the incoming invasion. The sirens stop, and almost every human is off the streets. Keyword, almost every human, because Anthony is still jumping across buildings. He stops and looks up into the sky. Spotlights are searching for the incoming fleet that will arrive any moment. "Hey, where is this son of a bitch?" "He's arriving from the northwest." "Get going." Anthony begins to jump across once again. However, he stops himself. "Huh? Why did you stop? Don't you hear that?" "Hear what?" "Wait, I do." The two hear something. It is not just them, but everyone else. A wailing noise echoes in the air. It's a bit quiet. Then, it's getting louder. More louder. In fact, the volume increases by 2 seconds. Mario, running alongside Luigi on the sidewalk, instantly recognized the sound. The brothers takes cover behind the building. Eleanor stops herself and looks up into the sky. She creates electric spears and gets ready. At Lola Park, one shouts, "Koopa Stuka!" Anthony gets into cover, out of sight. A spotlight spots an aircraft diving towards the ground below. The aircraft itself looks like an exact replica of the Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber, except with a retractable landing gear. Their wings are folded in so that they increase in speed as they dive on their targets. The D-5A Strikers, or Koopa Stukas as the AMF calls them, in 8 groups of 3, drops their payload of 1,000-pound bombs. The men and women flee away. As the bombs plant into the ground, the 2-second fuse goes off and explodes, killing 4 soldiers. Then the plane unfolds its wings and banks away. Some of the Stukas hit some skyscrapers as they think there are humans who are in hiding. To an extent, they are right. Other Stukas hit some of the spotlights that are shining into the sky. Out from multiple directions, F-22 Ace arrives and shoots down some of the dive bombers, and multiple dogfights are underway. Unlike the World War II era Stukas, the Koopa Stukas, without the bomb load, can maneuver like a fighter and engage enemy fighters. The downside is that their speed is 3/4 of the modern American fighter jet. The battle carriers Queen Vanessa, Tammy, and King Henry, along with their destroyer escorts, arrive in sight as the spotlights shine on them. F-16C and D Screaming Eagles, equipped with armor-piercing bombs, arrives and heads for the ships. As they approach, the ships become alit. Not aflame, but in gunfire. The ship's AA guns opens fire at the incoming aircraft. The ships then opens fire with their 8-inch and 15-inch guns. The high-explosive shells crashes and explodes on the ground, taking out a few soldiers. The King Henry fires its 15-inch guns in the direction of Lowell Park. Seeing this, Chloe creates an ice shield blocking the shells, but she takes little damage to her brain. The ship fires again after a 10-second reload. A hatch opens in the ice shield, and Jojo aims his M1 Garand rifle through it. Prizakuzi. Marcus's first ability is precision. As he activates it, light orange aura surrounds his body. Everything around him slows down considerably, except for his movement. His eyes glow red. His eyesight becomes more clear in the night. This is allowing him to see the incoming shells heading towards him and his squad. 16 shells, 2 clips. Got it. He aims his rifle at the shells. The M1 Garand is a semi-automatic rifle created by Canadian-American John Garand. It holds 30-06 Springfield bullets in an 8-round end-block clip. Jojo fires 1 bullet at each shell coming towards his squad. Once he fires all 8 rounds from the rifle, the empty clip automatically ejects with a distinct sound. Legend has it that during World War II, the ping was loud enough to be heard by the Germans or Japanese. In reality, however, the battlefields were so loud that it made it hard for anyone to hear it, except for the person who was holding the rifle. Jojo reloads another 8-round clip into the cartridge, though when the bolt closes, his thumb gets jammed. After removing his thumb, he resumes fire at the remaining shells. Then, his aura disappears, and time around him returns to normal. To Jojo, he used his ability for 15 seconds. To everyone else, it's approximately 0.5 seconds. The clips falls on the ground, and the bullets that Jojo fired hits their intended targets, exploding in mid-air. He kneels down and reloads his rifle. Nice shot, babe. Thanks. From his flagship, the King Henry, Bowser looks on.
Very impressive. These mutants have come a long way since the last time I've seen them. It's a shame that they're going to be our slaves. And where could you be, Dovahkiin? Kamek, we're landing.
But, sire, those mutants will destroy you.
If there is more than one of them. And look at who you're talking to. I'll need the 18th Crossbow Battalion to accompany me.
Wise choice.
The battle carrier stops above the park and descends to the ground below. Landing gear comes down from beneath the ship as it lands to a standstill. The surrounding AMF soldiers gets together and aims their M4A1 carbine rifles with M203 grenade launchers upwards. Chloe creates an ice shield while her boyfriend aims his rifle. Wait, you don't have a grenade launcher? An M1 rifle, an M1911 pistol, and a small are all I need. I'm old school, with a hint of the new. A hissing sound interrupts their conversation. A hatch opens on the port side of the middle of the ship. Appearing into view, Kamek flies on his broomstick with his wand in his right hand.
Excuse me, humans, but make room.
The wand glows. He aims it and the soldiers are pushed away by 60 feet. Kamek flies out of the ship and lands on the ground. Following him are the 18th Crossbow Battalion, 500 in total. They gather on the ground, stand side by side, and aims their crossbows at the humans. The humans aims right back. The two sides aims at each other, waiting for one or the other to shoot. They wait for a very long, uncomfortable time.
Kamek, introduce me!
The humans already know who you are, just get out here!
Fine!
The low growl of Bowser echoes throughout the inside of the ship. Footsteps echoes as well. Finally, he comes into view. He walks down the ramp onto solid ground. He grumbles as he smiles at the situation. King Bowser, you're trespassing on American territory. Leave now or be neutralized.
I'm afraid that is going to be out of the question. Not only have I come for conquest, but I've also come to settle a little score. Where is Dovahkiin?
Dovahkiin? Yeah, this Koopa for Dragonborn. He's dead. You won't find him here.
If only that were true. I have sources that told me that he is around here somewhere. And if I have to bombard your cities, then so be it. I will bomb this city.
He looks in the direction of San Francisco.
Then that city is next.
That will not be necessary. Bowser looks ahead past the AMF soldiers. The soldiers themselves looks behind them. Hellraiser and the Super Mario Brothers stand side by side confronting the Turtle King. In the front leading them is Dragonborn himself. His face is full of confidence. Eleanor has the look of determination and rage, while the Giovannis are a little hesitant. Bowser smiles with sheer delight. Chloe and Jojo, internally, are freaking out. What are you doing here? He had a change of mind. You're not supposed to be here, Tony. Well, you're kind of too late on that one. Also, he looks straight ahead at Bowser, whom looks directly back at him. The two lock eyes for the first time. You must be King Robert. Nice to meet you.
I prefer to be called Bowser, but likewise.
Tony, please, get to the bunker.
Your Majesty, perhaps this isn't a good idea after all. Maybe we should
Focus on the others around us. I can handle this one. The fact that these two beings said the same thing at the exact same time frightens those around them. Their intentions are clear. It will be the two of them with no one interfering. Jojo fires a bullet at Kamek, but the Magic Koopa blocks it with a shield. Instantly, both sides scatter. The soldiers on both sides begin firing at each other. The bullets and arrows flies past Bowser and Anthony as they don't move a single muscle as everyone around them fight. Mario and Luigi throws fireballs at Koopas while dodging arrows. Chloe creates an ice shield to protect her sister, boyfriend, and squad. The King Henry ascends into the air once more, engaging F-16 fighters as they begin their attack run, while at the same time launching their own fighters, the A09K Thunder. The park is completely clear. Bowser and Anthony are the only ones who haven't moved even once as their friends and comrades engage in combat. A heavy gust of wind blows on them as they continue to stare each other down.
Be careful. His strength and black magic are nothing to be trifled with.
Thanks for the heads up. Anthony and Bowser walks forwards. They never take their eyes off of each other, nor do they want to turn back from this exchange. They stop just 4 feet apart. The height difference is noticeable. One is 6 foot 5 inches, while the other is 10 feet. One looks up, while the other looks down. Huh. I thought you'd be bigger.
Oh, you want me to get bigger? I have the power to do that.
So, what's your story?
I am here to protect my kingdom from a catastrophe soon to come, while also gaining more territory.
Okay, that's good and all, but I want to know what's going on with you.
What?
What's your origin? How did you get to this point?
What is this? I'm being confronted by the world's strongest, yet you want to know my history? You should be able to know what I went through.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I have every single intention to kick your turtle ass, but all I need is a refresher, that's all.
Very well.
The two steps back 2 steps and circles around each other.
You know, I have heard so much about you and those who came before you, especially the one who helped me win the Civil War.
Kenshiro Honda? Yeah, I've heard of him. He's the one who told me to protect those around me and live with no regrets.
Wise words, even for a dead man.
Anyway, what's it like in your kingdom? Actually, don't answer that. I bet it's a shithole. Bowser stops in his tracks, so does Anthony. The Turtle King's eye twitches.
Excuse me?
I mean, seriously, I can't imagine anyone wanting to sleep or even live in a dirty, rotten-smelling, horrendous, ugly-looking city knowing full well that your so-called communist utopia isn't working out so well. Bowser's right punch stops Anthony from saying anything else. The punch creates a shockwave that shakes half a dozen cars and blows the branches in the trees. Unfazed by it, and a fist in his face, Anthony looks back at the king.
I'll have you know that Metropolis is the most beautiful city on the west coast of your not-so-free country.
You say that, yet there is that castle in the middle that looks completely out of place. Also, does your kingdom actually give your people the right to vote, freedom of religion and speech, or even sovereignty to those who want independence? Because I hear that Metropolis has been demanding that for years. Sure, the US isn't perfect, but at least we're trying to make it better among all the stupidity in the government. Dragonborn knocks away Bowser's fist and delivers a punch of his own to his face, with the same force creating another shockwave. Bowser is unfazed by his punch and looks back at him. Looks like our therapy session has begun. Shall we proceed?
Let's.
Both beings cracks their neck and knuckles. They reel back and throw a punch at each other. Both of their fists connect, creating a shockwave. They throw a left punch at each other, however, they connect as well. Suddenly, they rapidly throw punches at each other without one giving an inch. Bowser swings a right punch downwards. Anthony dodges and throws a punch in return, but is blocked. However, the punch does send the king back a few feet. Tony charges and throws a flying punch, but Bowser counters by catching him and throws him onto 14th Street. Bowser leaps towards him, throwing a punch down to him, but he misses him, punching the concrete instead. He grabs a piece of concrete and throws it at Dragonborn, but Tony catches it and throws it back at him. Bowser runs towards him, destroying the thrown concrete, and rams into the man. Anthony grabs him as the turtle rams into him, but it wasn't enough to stop him. As he gets dragged on its feet through the concrete, he continues to hold on. As the two enter the intersection between 14th and Brush Street, Dragonborn kicks Bowser in the face, at the same time jumping out of the way onto Brush Street. So, is this the first time your kingdom tried something like communism?
Yes. My grandfather Henry was a noble king who wouldn't allow such an ideology. For hundreds of years, it was strictly a monarchy. And believe it or not, both your country and Cootopia have an alliance. Though, I'm guessing that's bound to change soon.
The king punches the ground, creating concrete stalagmites towards Dragonborn. Tony moves out of the way. Each one that pops up, he quickly moves out of the way with amazing speed. Bowser, using it as a distraction, punches through the concrete stalagmites towards him. The punch connects and Anthony flies onto the bridge of 17th Street. Getting back on his feet and wiping his face, Anthony realizes that Bowser's strength is on par with his own, possibly greater. However, there is one thing that he noticed. Bowser is not particularly quick on his feet. So, he decides to use the one thing that the turtle doesn't have: speed. The Turtle King hides his legs, arms, tail, and head into a shell and turns into a spiked ball. He rolls like a bowling ball on the concrete towards the bridge. Tony turns 180 degrees and runs into the downtown district of Oakland with Bowser hot on his tail. The man picks up speed and turns into Clay Street. He waits for the turtle to come into view. Finally, Bowser comes into view, and as he comes out of his shell, Tony runs and drop-kicks the turtle, sending him flying into the Oakland Ice Center. Bowser crashes through the walls onto the ice. He stops himself and gets to his feet. However, the slipperiness of the ice causes him to trip on his stomach. Anthony jumps through the holes into the ice ring. He has a much more easier time moving on the ice. He touches the ice with his right hand and attaches it to Bowser's hands. The turtle tries to break free to no avail. The man stops in front of him. So, you're telling me that America and Cooptopia had an alliance. How long did that lasted? He balls up his fist and punches Bowser in the face 7 separate times. He goes for an 8th, but Bowser breathes fire to break it up. Then he frees himself from the ice and answers his question.
It lasted from 1870 to 1970, a full 100 years. It was an alliance that is strictly aiding those in times of war. If one side goes to war, so does the other, no matter the excuse.
Bowser unleashes another fire breath. Anthony dodges it, but it continues to follow him. As he circles around Bowser, the flames causes the ice to melt. Dragonborn picks up the water with his hands. As the extreme cold water touches the flames, steam bellows. As steam covers the entire ring, Tony looks around to try and search for Bowser, but visibility is terrible, even with the ceiling lights on. So, like the Spanish-American War, the 2 World Wars, the Korean War, and the Vietnam War, your people actually helped us Americans?
That's right. My grandfather's fighters were skilled warriors in those wars. There are even memorials of our warriors in your cemeteries.
Well, that's nice. Anyway, what changed? What happened to that alliance?
Bowser's shadow hovers over Dragonborn. Blame my father.
As Tony turns around to throw a punch, Bowser hits him with his own. The young man is sent flying through the walls back outside onto the intersection of 17th Street and Telegram Avenue. How are you alive?
I don't know, but I might as well use it to my advantage. Oh, fuck me.
Okay. I can withstand his punches, albeit like a rag doll, and I have the speed to outrun him. What else can I do?
Sorry, you're going to have to figure that out yourself.
Wow. Fucking useful you are. Catching a quick glance ahead, he sees Bowser throwing a flying punch right at him. He ducks. Bowser lands and throws another punch, with Tony returning the favor. Both of their fists connect, creating a massive shockwave shattering windows. So, you're telling me that your father is the reason why you don't have that alliance? I hear that he was the one who started the Civil War. Or is there more to the story?
You're starting to catch on, Dovahkiin. And yes, there is more to the story.
Well, tell me more, because this therapy session has now entered into second gear. Across Lake Merritt in Cleveland Heights, gunfights and brawls are exchanged between the human soldiers and the armed Koopas. Both sides are trying to prevent the other from assisting Bowser or Dragonborn. Hand-to-hand, crossbow against rifle and pistol. The U.S. 22nd Squad spots an artillery piece firing at Dragonborn, though Anthony catches the shell and throws it in Bowser's face. The squad throws grenades, and instantly, the artillery piece is put out of action. 10 miles away, 5 M114 155mm howitzers fires M795 HE shells towards Bowser, but the turtle notices them and takes cover in his shell. In retaliation, Kamek orders the battle carriers King Henry and Queen Vanessa to fire on the artillery positions. Both ships fire their 15-inch shells, and within 20 to 25 seconds, 2 are put out of action, with 10 men dead as a result. Meanwhile, half a mile south of where Dragonborn and Bowser are, the Mario brothers are making headway, pushing back a few Koopas and Goombas from breaking through. A few try to push through, but they fail thanks to the brothers' teamwork. Mario dodges a spear and blade and sets 2 ablaze. Luigi struggles a little, but manages to set 2 Koopas and 1 Goomba ablaze. Mario sees his brother surrounded and comes up with a solution. He chops on the head of a Koopa, causing the turtle to hide in his shell. He grabs the shell, kicks it, and knocks out 4 Goombas and 4 Koopas surrounding Luigi. As Luigi starts to fight back again, he gets hit in the leg with a crossbow and causes him to revert back to his original colors. Mario grabs his brother and gets in the cover, but he too gets hit and reverts back to his original colors. For now, they'll have to resort to hand-to-hand combat. Meanwhile, 1 mile away to the north, JoJo and the Harrington sisters are having a much more easier time repelling back the Koopa's 18th platoon. The former gets in the cover. Regisawa. Bright red aura surrounds the man's body. He gets out of cover and stands out into the open. Immediately, the Koopas opens fire with their crossbows. However, the arrows hit his body, but they don't pierce his skin. It is JoJo's second ability, Rage of San Juan. When he activates it, it makes him invincible to any projectile, even explosives, as he takes a shell from a Koopa destroyer. But the downside is that it only lasts for 40 seconds. JoJo aims his M1 rifle and takes out 16 Koopas and 8 Goombas with 3 8-round clips. Then, JoJo deactivates it after just 20 seconds. Once it's gone, he runs back into cover and reloads his rifle. He could use his abilities half of the time they usually last. Anthony, in fact, told him 3 years ago that if you waste your abilities all at once, you're basically a dead man. Across the street from his position, Eleanor and Chloe Harrington are holding their own against the Koopa's first sword company. The latter creates an ice shield blocking arrows launched at her. She freezes the ground and traps 6 Koopas in place. The former pops up behind her and throws a single bolt at a Koopa in the front. Thanks to her training with Dragonborn, she was able to develop and name a new technique, kinetic shock. Once the bolt eliminates its target, it connects to another, then another, then another, then another, killing up to 6 in total. And because the sisters are near Lake Merritt, Chloe is able to fare much better than her sister. Her abilities involves water and ice, so running out is not going to be an issue. Like a Spartan, she charges at 2 Goombas, taking them off of their feet, allowing Eleanor to finish them off. Hellraiser creates her newly named Inferno Whip and whips 5 Koopas all at once. Suddenly, the two become surrounded by the 3rd Koopa platoon. But we're flat doing. Chloe lays flat on her stomach with the shield on her back. Hellraiser steps on the shield and spins rapidly in one place. Flames whirl around the sisters, picking up speed as it grows into the air. Then, it turns into a fire tornado. The flaming whirlwind picks up Koopa Troopas off of their feet and burns them the moment they enter it. She stops and the flames disappears. The Ice Queen gets back up on her feet. As they look around them, the area is clear. Then, they hear the booming, thunder-like cracks across the lake. The fight between Bowser and Dragonborn continues. Hang on, I just realized something. What? When I first saw Anderson, I thought he was completely weak to fight against Bowser. And now, here he is, fighting the same Colossus. Huh. Yeah, that is strange. Either Anderson punched me so hard that it gave me a concussion and I'm starting to hallucinate, or power levels are starting to become bullshit. Now, I see we get a closer look at the action. I'm pretty sure Tony has it under control. Unless he starts begging for help. Unlikely. I say we go. Eleanor grabs her sister's hand and the two dashes away to the other side of the lake. Bowser punches Anthony away 18 meters away, but it did not take him off of his feet. He dashes towards him, but Dragonborn ducks and kicks Bowser in between the legs, causing the 10-foot turtle to fall on his stomach, writhing in agony. Anthony jumps and bashes him in the head, causing the turtle to hide in his shell. Dragonborn then kicks the shell into the air. The turtle flies up 50 meters, then falls back down to earth, bouncing on the concrete. Anthony runs to him and shotgun dropkicks him through the lakeside development building. Coming out on the other side, Bowser stops himself by grabbing the concrete with his right hand. He pops out of his shell and grabs Anderson, preventing a punch to his face. He tosses the man to Lake Merritt, but Tony doesn't go into the lake itself. He only stops himself in shallow water. Bowser, like a bull, rams into him, but Dragonborn grabs on and doesn't give an inch. So your jackass of a father was to blame for everything that happened after he took control?
Indeed. Well, part of it. There were problems in the kingdom that even I saw when I was an infant. Famine, discrimination, brutality, but I dared not to speak my mind about it.
Then what caused the Civil War?
It was the death of my grandfather that started the chain reaction.
Wait, Andrew killed him?
Wrong. It was that 3-headed golden demon. And in his dying breath, he told me everything about my father. He even told me how my own mother was killed by him.
He pushes him away and punches Anthony into the lake. Floating to the bottom of the lake, Anthony crosses his arms and ponders on what Bowser is telling him up to this point. You know, as I'm continuing to fight him, I'm kind of feeling bad about him. Can't imagine being the son of a bastard king.
Fate can be horrendous for some. Also, are you taking this seriously?
Of course I am. The more I learn about him, the more likely it is that I'll defeat him with words. And punches. Just get back up there. Alright. Jeez. Wait a sec. How can I breathe underwater? He touches his neck. As he does, he feels something bumpy on the sides. He touches them and it feels like his skin is peeling off. But a thought enters his mind. Oh, gills. Nice. Anyway, he gets to his feet and torpedoes himself towards the surface. His head pops out on the surface. And immediately his head ducks back underwater because Bowser fired his fire breath at him the moment he revealed himself. Alright, now that was rude. He torpedoes himself out of the water, dodging the fire breath. He lands on top of the water and runs towards the Turtle King. He dodges another fire breath to his left, then to his right. He picks up water with his hands and throws a string at the fire breath, once again creating steam. But, unlike inside of the ice ring, it is the outside, meaning the winds will blow the white steam away. Meanwhile, less than half a mile away, Eleanor and Chloe manage to get close to the fight as intended. They stay quiet and watch. Finally, the steam disappears. Bowser looks around and searches for Dragonborn. Suddenly, screaming like a madman, Anthony comes in flying like a missile and shotgun drop kicks the turtle on the side of his face, sending him flying into the Ridgeless building onto Jackson Street. Bowser picks himself up from the concrete and shakes his head. He looks at Dragonborn, who runs up to him and stops just 10 feet away. Bowser gets to his feet.
That was very cheap of you, Dovahkiin.
Oh, coming from something that blew fire at me while I was still in the fucking water. Eleanor and Chloe peeks their heads from the Ridgeless building and listens to what the two are saying. Anthony's right ear twitches. He looks to his right, then looks back at Bowser. Hey, Robert, I got a question. Do you know what a warthog sounds like?
What kind of question is that? Of course I do. It sounds like...
An A-10C Thunderbolt 2 fires his 30mm Gal-8 Avenger machine gun at King Bowser, interrupting his sentence. The aircraft itself is equipped with monster armor-piercing rounds, and after it hits its target, it leaves behind a sound that is very recognizable. The jet banks away from its strafing run.
This is Warthog 12 to Angry Jojo. Target confirmed, head over.
Roger. Thanks for the assist. Jojo and his squad, who was half a mile south of Bowser and Dragonborn's position, was the one who called in the Thunderbolt 2, or Warthog as it's known as. Bowser, meanwhile, gets back to his feet. Yeah, whatever it is you were thinking of, you were wrong. Bowser growls in anger towards the still-standing Dragonborn, but he immediately calms down and stares him down. By the way, sorry about your grandfather.
Well, at least you're not a full-on brute. Also, you know what I've noticed, Dovahkiin? You haven't used your full power. It's almost as if you're holding back.
That's strange, considering that I've been using all of my power.
No, I can tell from your attacks that you were not using your full power. That also makes me wonder why you haven't used mana control yet.
Mana what? Oh shit, I didn't tell him about that. Bowser raises his left eyebrow.
Wait, you haven't forgotten something that you weren't supposed to, have you?
What the hell are you talking about? Bowser becomes confused. Suddenly, he comes to a realization and starts laughing maniacally.
Now it all makes sense. I was wondering why you turned out to be more weaker than the previous Dovahkiin. You have no memory, do you?
This becomes a shock to Eleanor, while a worrying sign to both Jojo and Chloe. You're right. I can't remember anything. In fact, I can't remember anything past January 1st, 2000.
And why is that? Unless... Of course.
He points his massive finger in Anthony's face.
You're him. You're the one who helped me win the Civil War.
Anthony's eyes widens. Eleanor also becomes shocked, but she is having doubts about it. Wait, does he mean that Anderson is... No, it can't be.
You see, after you assisted me, my kingdom thrived throughout the Millennium Renaissance, with some setbacks in between. When I heard that Rhaegon III had returned in Japan and is heading here, I had thought that he was coming here to challenge me. But then, I realized later that Rhaegon III was being called upon by something else. He was called upon by you. Or, to be specific, he was called upon by the Gamera Dawn, to which you have the power to summon.
Anthony's face becomes more serious and balls up his fists. Black aura surrounds Bowser from head to toe.
Once I realized that, I knew two things that I must do. One, in order to defend my kingdom and gain the respect I deserve, I must gain more territory. And 2,
The aura around Bowser becomes more intense.
in order to halt Raygon III's advance to my kingdom, I had to find and kill you.
Wait, hang on, don't you think there could be another reason?
A possibility, but I'm not taking any chances. This Koopa magic that I'm using gives me extra strength. And consider yourself lucky. You'll be the first and last human to witness it.
Bowser delivers a right punch to the ground. An earthquake shakes Anthony and the others off of their feet. Like a gorilla, he pounds his chest, roars, and charges at him, throwing a wicked punch. Each punch that he throws is impossible to counter, in addition to causing the ground to shake. Anthony shields himself from his punches, but each blow weakens his defense. Finally, a punch from Bowser sends him flying down 14th Street. Half a mile to the north, Koopas and Goombas cheer on their king, chanting, "Down with Dovahkiin." For the AMF and Hellraiser, it's the worst case scenario, so they decide to intervene. However, Bowser is one step ahead of them, knocking them all away with one swipe in the air. He looks back at Dragonborn, getting back to his feet. He dashes and delivers a stiff punch to his head. Tony staggers, but stays on his feet. Then Bowser rains down with blow after blow after blow to the man's head. Several flashes of visions enters Anderson's mind as he continues to take these hits. Flashes of individual mutants and humans. As he gets punched into the intersection of 14 and Webster Street, Anthony realizes that they are not visions of someone else's past. Wait, are these my memories? Bowser punches the young man into the concrete. He repeatedly punches him over and over again, with Anthony trying his best to defend himself. I remember. Bowser grabs him by the legs and like a rag doll slams him against the concrete. Then he does it again. Even so, Tony continues. I remember! Bowser holds Anthony by the waist. He rams his limping body through the walls of buildings of 14th into 13th Street. He stops in the intersection of it and Webster Street. Bowser punches the ground. A concrete stalagmite bursts out of the mystic shop. I remember.
I really enjoyed our little chat. Unfortunately, it has come to an end.
I remember who I am. Bowser throws Anthony and the spiked pillar on the side of the building. Anthony's body gets impaled back first through the heart out the chest. The body struggles for a little, then goes limp. Finally, it stops. Blood spills out as the body lays in the spiked pillar. Bowser smiles, pounds his chest, and roars in victory. His army and fleet cheer in jubilee. The humans, on the other hand, are shocked and in despair. One of those humans is Eleanor herself. Before March 1st, 2010, she had been on edge against almost everyone, fleeing away from anybody that she thought could attack her in any minute, and in general, avoiding and not trusting any one person or mutant aside from her family. After March 1st, after being defeated by Anderson, she started to open up more around people, thanks to him. Progress was made when they decided to help each other in their struggles, a decision that turned them into partners. No, friends. A few setbacks indeed, but Anthony talked to her with a calm, level-headed mind. And now, she stares at the fresh carcass of the only person that she was just starting to trust. Her first reaction is shock and sadness. But suddenly, it turns into hatred and unyielding rage. And she is not the only one. Chloe, Jojo, and the Mario brothers, who saw what happened just in time, have one thing in mind: revenge. Jojo grabs a Small from his back and launches a rocket at Bowser's face. Bowser looks at the man. Jojo's face is beyond furious. His entire squad holds up Smalls and aims it at the Turtle King. Jojo shouts at the top of his lungs, declaring, "If you think that you're gonna take the state of California with your head held high, you got another thing coming." He and his squad opens fire all at once. All of the projectiles hit his target. Bowser himself doesn't even attempt to dodge them. Instead, he hides in his shell, allowing all of the projectiles to hit. When the squad is reloading, Bowser pops out and unleashes his fire breath. Some, including Jojo, gets out of the way, but most did not in time. 10 men die instantly. A punch to the ground interrupts the men from firing more rockets at him. He prepares to unleash another fire breath, but gets interrupted by Mario and Luigi's punches. Landing on the ground, the brothers create red and green hammers respectively and swings them at Bowser's chest, causing him to stagger. Bowser stops himself and roars. He rushes at the brothers, smashing the ground in between them, missing them. They swing their flaming hammers, then connect to his chin and swing again at his chest, throwing the turtle off balance. The brothers continue to swing their hammers at Bowser, but the turtle is blocking each strike at every angle. Finally, he managed to grab both hammers, pull them away, grabs Mario and Luigi, and smashes them into each other. Black Aura comes into his fist, and he throws a right punch at the two. but before he could even swing, his hand freezes in place by Chloe. In retaliation, Bowser fires his fire breath, freeing his arm and at her. She blocks the blast with her ice shield. An electro spear shoots over her at Bowser's head, causing him to stop firing. As soon as Bowser gets his nerves back, he sees Hellraiser with an electric sword in her right hand and a bolt in the other. Like Spartans, the sisters charges at him. Bowser swings his right fist at the shield, but the Ice Queen does not budge. Eleanor swings her sword, aiming for his eye, but the turtle ducks. Chloe pushes the turtle away, and Eleanor shoots a spear in his right knee. Bowser drops to his left and gets slashed over and over again by Hellraiser's Inferno Whip. Bowser fires his fire breath at the two. Chloe gets pushed back. Her shield melts, but she still remains. Eleanor pops up from behind her and returns fire with her hyper cannon. The blast pushes back the turtle into the intersection, then explodes. Eleanor hopes that her attack did a lot of damage, but her hopes were crushed when Bowser started laughing. The smoke clears, revealing the Turtle King without a scratch. The black aura disappears, and he stares them down.
A noble and valiant attempt.
Damn it.
A noble and valiant effort, but in the end, it all means nothing. Damn it!
Flying down on his broomstick, the Magic Koopa hovers over the king's head. He is visibly exhausted.
Sweet lovable Con, do you know how hard it is to command a ship like the King Henry? I almost died a few times.
I dwell on that never. Right now, I need you to carry the body of Dover King back to Gootopia. That way, I will have succeeded in getting respect.
The Magic Koopa looks over to where the body is. He is shocked and amazed that his king was able to defeat him so easily. On the other hand, he is going to be the one to carry his body, which grosses him out. He waves his wand and aims it at the body. An energy ball shoots out of the wand towards him. As the ball gets closer to it, the hand of Anderson rises up and blocks the energy. His hand closes and the energy disappears. Kamek becomes shocked and frightened. Everyone else follows suit. The hand reaches out and grabs onto the pillar. The left hand reaches out and grabs it as well. They pull the body outwards. The body moves, creating this ugly, disgusting goo-like sound that makes some of the soldiers vomit. Finally, the body becomes free from the pillar. Pools of blood spills out from the open wound. Then, it slowly gets to its feet. The person that Bowser thought he had killed is now reanimated before everyone's eyes. Anthony stands on his feet and takes in a massive inhale, a bigger inhale than usual. The flames that Bowser, Mario, Luigi, and Eleanor left behind are going into Dragonborn. Once all the fire is inside of his mouth, he swallows it. The fire circles around the open wound. The flesh starts regenerating around it, while the swirling flames get smaller. All of the organs and missing bones regenerates as well. Finally, Anderson is completely healed. He opens his eyes and looks up at the stunned Bowser. "Robert, you stupid son of a bitch. I didn't say that this therapy session was over." His voice noticeably deepens drastically. "We only have 15 minutes left. Not to mention, we're just getting into third gear." Next time, the return of Kenjiro Honda.